Okay guys, so the Northern Trust Open just finished up and Dustin Johnson crushed the field. It was an amazing display. I haven't seen that for quite some time, where one guy was just firing on all cylinders, and those cylinders, you know, can be pushed as far as someone like Dustin Johnson. So it was really awesome to see. He finished 30 under par, which sets a record outside of Hawaii. So there's the Tournament of Champions where you had Jordan Spieth shoot 30 under par, Ernie Els shot 31 under par, but that's a par 73 golf course, so there's more chances to get under par. So I think in terms of total numbers, this one is a more impressive actual total tournament. It's crazy, 30 under par. I mean, you think you take 7 under par each day to win the tournament, no problem. You'd say, of course, that guy's gonna win. And that would have been 2 strokes shy of Dustin Johnson. So it's insane. Harris English, I mean, kind of for a while was in a league of his own. He finished at 19 under par, 11 strokes back. You know, he was at 20, I think he had it to 21. So he didn't quite do it, but he solidified his solo second. So that's, you know, big for the FedEx Cup points. He's up there. He finished really well. Daniel Berger also got solo third, which is good for him, but these are guys that were pretty solidly in the top 70 and in fact, you know, top 30 for looking even beyond next week at Chicago, looking at Georgia and the Tournament of Champions. So it was just a clinic. I mean, Dustin had his irons so dialed in. The driver was phenomenal. The guy was crushing at 330 down the middle. So when you start with that, obviously you got a big advantage on the field. But then to top it off with just these crisp, accurate, super well controlled in terms of distance iron shots, there was no way anyone could touch him. I mean, the most ho-hum 60 of all time. Let's talk about that for a second. He was 11 under through 11 holes at one point in the second round. And Scheffler in front of him shot a 59. But you know, I've never seen a 59 kind of just be taken out of the limelight so quickly, because Dustin Johnson was like on 57 watch, you know, after the first 11 holes. So, you know, he just put on a clinic the entire week. But there were a lot of other interesting storylines as well. Tiger finishes with a nice 5 under. He had it on Sunday. He had 5 under on the front 9, so he shot 31, but just didn't have anything left for it on the second 9 and shot a even par. But that, you know, that solidifies him for at least next week into Chicago. Put him, I think he finished somewhere around like 58th. For the FedEx Cup standings, and the top 70 go along. So that's good to see. You know, I want to see Tiger do well. Obviously, I'm a huge Tiger fan, and he brings in a lot of viewers. So you had some other guy, Rory, playing alongside Tiger, just did not have it going this entire week. He had an interview post-round today and said that his driver is just all over the place. He felt comfortable with his irons, but his driver just wasn't going where he wanted it. And I thought that the way he talked about it was a little too, you know, not feel oriented. He said that, like, oh, the dispersion's too big, you know, I want to get some more spin so I can tighten it up. And I get that these guys have access to all sorts of TrackMan data, but, you know, like, I feel like maybe taking an approach on how to approach the swing and everything is maybe a better, but, you know, who am I to second guess Rory? So that's what he feels he needs to work on. He said that everything else felt really good. Now, when I was watching this, you know, you had Dustin Johnson coming down on 17, and just before that, they showed a picture from, I think it was the blimp image, of a huge black cloud, and they were saying how close it's getting, didn't look good. Sure enough, a few minutes later, the horn goes off, play is suspended, ended up being an hour-long play suspension right at the tail end of the tournament. I mean, right at the end. And who's on 18 that needs a birdie to get into the top 70? Louis Oosthuizen. He had stuck his drive in the middle of the fairway, so he's in good shape. It's a par 5, but he still needs to birdie. and all of a sudden there's an hour-long play suspension. It rains like crazy during that hour, so they come back. It's dark. The restart time was 7:15 p.m. and the sunset 7:32. So there was not a lot of light. It's always hard to tell on TV. I hate that. I wish they would do something to give us a real sense of what the light is like. He comes back, hits a solid iron. Actually, the only guy I think in those last two groups to make it to the green on their second shot. Everyone else came up short. Now I don't know if it's because it was pitch dark, because it was raining slightly, or what. But Scotty Scheffler, he came up short, and then Dustin and Harris English behind them came up short on their approach shots, even though everyone was hitting it from the fairway. So Louis pops it on the green. He's got the read, puts it to a knee, it popped maybe 35 foot for eagle, something like that, with a pretty good swinging putt. Leaves it at a knee-knocking 4.5 feet for his birdie to make it on the nose at 70th. Only the top 70 advance next week to Chicago. And he buried it right in the middle of the cup, so all credit to the guy. It was fun to watch. I mean, that was definitely the last storyline of the day. He made it, and he goes ahead and advances onto Chicago. So another fun guy to watch coming down the finish was Jason Kokrak. He needed an eagle on 18 to make it into the top 70, to give him a shot anyways, because he finished pretty early on. And hits a great drive right in the middle of the fairway, and he needs to have a clutch second shot from 200 yards plus. He needs to stuff it, and that is exactly what he did. Flew it straight over the flag, landed 3 feet, maybe 3.5 feet, something like that, from the pin, and buries the putt. It's exciting. I like that about the playoffs, where there's just some real tension at the end when you got to make something happen. It was really disappointing. I'm a big Rickie Fowler fan, and unfortunately the guy was nowhere. He didn't show up on coverage at all today until he was standing on the green on 18 with another player who had a chance. I think it was Russell Henley, had a chance to make something happen for himself in terms of going on to the next stage of the FedEx Cup. But Rickie finished at 6 under, and at the time I believe that put him at 94th. I'm not sure what he finished at, but nowhere near the top 70. So Rickie's out, Phil Mickelson is out. We got some big guys. Actually, that'll be interesting seeing him play Phil on the Champions Tour. I've never actually watched a Champions Tour event, but I'm sure that there will be a lot of people tuning in and excited to see what he can do on the Champions Tour. At the start of the third round, there was a guy I was keeping tabs on, which was Cameron Davis, the big Australian. I don't know, he's probably 6'3"-ish. He's a tall, lanky kind of guy, has a smooth swing, but as I found out, man, that guy's got a temper. On the back nine on Saturday, he just the wheels fell off, and he was all over the place. And it culminated in 18. They had a tracker on him, or the shot tracer, and he just absolutely swiped one right. Started off probably on a decent line, but then it just went whoop, straight right and ended up in the hazard. So I think he definitely didn't make a par or anything better than that on that hole. But he's an interesting golfer to watch. Has a beautiful swing. So I'll definitely be keeping my eye on him. He's moving on. He had a decent finish overall, so he'll be going on next week to Chicago. So there's a couple other guys that I had fun keeping track of. Harry Higgs, I had never seen that guy, but he was a lot of fun to watch. He's just one of those guys, you can tell he's got a lot of good sense of style, self, just seems like a fun guy to be around. The Faldo and company, I guess, dug up that his nickname is the Big Beautiful, but seems like a pretty cool guy, and I definitely had fun watching him play. And he moved up from 72nd to start the week, and now he's solidly in with a good finish, though he did kind of fumble it a bit at the end with a bogey on 18. Really terrible chip for his third shot. Led to a bogey, and actually hit him make like a 6-footer for his bogey, but he's in there at 70 from 72nd to 48th, I believe. And then you got one other guy, which he's dealt with a lot of issues over the last several years, and that's Bubba Watson. He's always been very open with all the issues that he's facing, emotional and otherwise, and he was able to put together a good enough 4 days, and and he's in there next week, 50 something in the FedEx Cup. So that's good to see, and hopefully he can, have another good week next week, and who knows, maybe make it to the Tournament of Champions. I want to go back to DJ, because really this week is all about DJ. The guy just played incredibly well, and the rest of the field, if he continues to play anything like he played this week, the rest of the field they better be nervous, because the guy, when he's playing that well, there's only a couple of guys on tour that can play up there with him. You got your Rory McIlroys, maybe Brooks Koepka, I guess if it's a major at least. Maybe JT, he's up there. I guess John Rahm can go low, but only a couple of guys. And that brings me back to the PGA championship winner, which is Collin Morikawa. Obviously, he's super young, but I think that when you look at his game and you compare it to a Rory or a DJ, I know, this is crazy. The guy's so young. He's only played in one major and he won it. So if I compare their games though, and I say, you give me DJ, you give me Rory playing their A- game, I don't think that Collin's A game can beat it. So I think Collin, he's got a great fundamentally sound swing, and he's gonna win a lot of tournaments, but I don't think he's got that explosive ability to score like some of the best guys on tour that have been around for a while, and even some of the other young guys. You throw a guy like Matt Wolff in there, I think he's very capable of putting together tremendously low 4 days. But that's just my take on it. The guy's super young and he's incredible. Major champion, at 23, so bright future ahead of him. That's just my take on that, and just really kind of solidifies it for me, having seen DJ play like this, and that massive gulf in between him and everybody else. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share it across any platforms that you use. If you have any suggestions for a topic that you want me to cover or a product that you want me to review, let me know in the comments below. So until next time, keep on finding that fairway.